everyone, Manic Monster Masher here again today with another video. As you all know, I have been working on a new campaign setting for my next D&D campaign whenever that happens, and I find myself writing lore for said campaign. So today we're going to go over the world's place in the D&D multiverse, as well as some outer space shenanigans. If you've been liking these New World Frontier videos, go ahead and subscribe and like, and you know the drill. Anyway, let's get started. So, as some of you may know, the D&D multiverse is actually a set of crystal spheres, all various distances away from one another. And the in-between is called the phlogiston, or phlogiston, let me correct myself there. And the phlogiston is the campaign setting of Spelljammer, as some of you may know. Really interesting setting. It's essentially D&D in space, but also not space. It's like a mystical, it's more of a mystical realm than it is actually like space. But moving on, the New World, my campaign setting, is indeed part of the D&D multiverse, or at least I'm writing it to be so. Keep in mind, I don't own any of Wizards of the Coast, so I have no control over their IP. But, unlike most worlds found in the Phlogiston and the Astral Sea, the New World inside of its crystal sphere is actually its own universe. Contrary to what you might believe, when someone says the D&D multiverse, they actually mean the D&D multi-planet thing. You see, the phlogiston inside of those, within the phlogiston inside of those crystal spheres, usually is just one planet. There are some exceptions to this, you know, but my crystal sphere that I'm working on for my setting has an entire universe inside of the crystal sphere. In terms of D&D writing, this is fairly uncommon, though not unheard of. Anything can be inside of these crystal spheres. Just 99% of the time it's just a singular planet or plane of existence. Why do this? Well, two reasons. The first reason is when I was writing the lore for the Warforged of the setting, I suddenly realized that it didn't actually work with the regular phlogiston and crystal spheres stuff, especially for what I have planned in terms of extraterrestrial activity on the world. Yes, your Greys, your Flatwoods monsters, all those guys, they are indeed going to be a factor on this world, and indeed on other planets inside of this universe. So, something I did want to go over, since we're talking about multiversal theories here, is the star crystal. I'm just going to read you what I have written here, as it's a pretty good synopsis. So go ahead and sit down for that, I guess. Over 5,000 years ago, a meteor the size of a house descended from the stars to strike the Sahara Desert. Inside of the rock was a 10-foot tall purple crystal. This crystal immediately began to give off strange magical energy. This energy mutated all life around it and changed the landscape to sustain these mutated creatures. The influence of the crystal began to spread across Africa, and it became apparent that it was not going to stop. A group of powerful wizards and sorcerers attempted to destroy the crystal, but it proved too powerful. They were only able to contain it. The magical barrier they created is powerful and is able to contain all of the energy it creates. However, the occasional creature is able to escape. This is extremely rare. These creatures often die shortly after their escape, usually due to the inability to survive outside of the eldritch environment the crystal produces. Others are hunted down. Only a few are able to survive outside of the barrier to escape. So, what is the point of this crystal in this campaign setting? Well, for one, it is essentially a monster generator. This crystal is from another planet, or maybe from another universe in the D&D multiverse, whatever you prefer. And what this crystal does is, this crystal is essentially responsible for creating the monstrosities and strange creatures you would normally see in a D&D setting. Since this world is mostly based on our own, it wouldn't entirely make sense to have like mind flayers running about since ancient history, you know, especially since we're still going for, you know, an alternative version of history, not necessarily its own fantasy world. So this is where this crystal is essentially where you're going to get your mind flayers, your beholders, your aboleths, all that sort of thing is going to come from this crystal. Maybe some demons. I'm kind of unsure as to whether or not I want to include some of the fiendish stuff, such as the abyss and the 9 layers of hell. I mean, obviously, you know, you could do that in your own campaign. I'm not sure. I haven't done the writing to figure out where those fit in yet. So, yeah, this is where you get your crazy creatures. The most famous of these creatures, or at least infamous, I should say, is a beholder by the name of Billy Eight Eyes. He runs a bandit gang in the frontier, and he has been doing it for over 50 years. He's made quite the name for himself. A lot of the native tribes and the Republic are definitely afraid of what he can do, definitely afraid of his raids, and he is a menace in the frontier. Now, mind flayers have also come from this crystal, but they are a problem worldwide, though they're kind of unlike something in Faerun where they would want to take over as quickly as possible. In this world, they've kind of bided their time. They are known by the various governments of the world, but no one will ever admit to their existence. You know, they're very like X-Files-esque. You couldn't get a government official to confirm or deny a mind flayer. And then also, the last most common thing that came out of these crystal is dragons. So dragons were not native to this planet, hence why dragons work a bit differently here than they do in the rest of the D&D multiverse. I'm not sure if I went over how my dragons work in this world in my previous videos. I'll have to go back and check, because I'm going to do an entire video of dragons. But basically, the difference between like gem dragon and metallic and chromatic are not hardline race-based things. A dragon's a dragon here. So, yeah. Anyway, this is just a really quick video. Just wanted to get some more of my ideas and thoughts about this world out here before I lose them. Hope you all have a good day, and whatever your favorite YouTuber says at the end of their videos, pretend I said that. Thanks.